Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Post Cologne. Today I'm going to be unboxing 3 Middle Eastern fragrances, including Dumon Soprano Elite. So let's jump into it. All right, we're back with another unboxing first impressions video of 3 new Middle Eastern fragrances that I recently picked up from Perfume Online and Perfume Box. Links will be down in the description if you decide you want to check any of these fragrances out. Also have some coupon codes. Save yourself 5% or $5 off your purchase at either one of those discounters if you decide you want to shop them. So pretty stoked on this. The 2 Al Watanis that I have never heard of, haven't heard anything about these ones. So excited to see if perhaps I got a hidden gem or 2 in here. And we have that Dumon Soprano Elite from the Soprano series that has been serving me well so far. So let's quit screwing around and let's get into it. All right, kicking things off, going to the house of Al Wataniah with Al Wataniah's Qasr Al Watan. Now I picked this up from Perfume Online for about $30. You can get between $25, $30 at various discounters. Don't know anything about this. I think I saw this on Instagram and that's pretty much as far as it's gone in terms of my knowledge of this fragrance. So let's dive in, shall we? All right, there we have the box presentation for Qasr Al Watan. I might be pronouncing that wrong, so feel free to correct me down in the comments if I'm absolutely butchering that. Nice thick cardboard box, has this nice shimmery gold, a bit of a kind of an embossed, or sorry, a glossy style of kind of graphic that's worked in there, and it is a pull-out book style. It's a little tight. What's going on here? Bear with me. Yes, it is a book slide out. It's just super tight. There we go. So we're rolling now. Opens up like so, revealing our fragrance bottle. Ooh, it's in a nice kind of fabric bed right there. Name of the fragrance and the house right there. So nice box presentation overall. Nice thick cardboard box. Decent for 25, 30 bucks. Bottle presentation, very unique looking bottle presentation. Not a whole lot of craziness, but it does have kind of this like, I don't know, engraving. I don't even know what you would call that on the back, but has that going on. And the cap, so a very kind of Middle Eastern looking bottle. Cap on this, a nice thick heavy metal. This is a very heavy cap that's going on to this, and let's check out this atomizer, shall we? Ooh, is that pressurized? A little bit of a pressurized atomizer going on there, so definitely get the job done. But what does this smell like? So right off the rip, just smelling this in the air. Nice mix of some spices going on. There's some like cardamom, some pink pepper there. Little hint of some aromatics, but a lot of saffron coming through as well. So it has a very kind of distinct, you know, Middle Eastern kiss to it with that saffron that you might be familiar with if you're familiar with other Middle Eastern fragrances. Really has that vibe going on, but nice spice profile that's working its way through. More of that pink pepper's coming through. A little bit of this kind of like rosemary touch that's working its way in there. So kind of got a boldness to it that I'm enjoying. So let's get this on paper. Let's dive in. Yeah, so right off the rip, just smelling this off paper, really saffron heavy, but it's bounced off with a nice kind of sweetness that's coming from that pink pepper, as well as some of that rosemary that's working its way in just to kind of pull that saffron down, but it really wants to be a saffron forward fragrance at this point. It's just, it's getting balanced off fairly nice with those spices coming through as well, that rosemary. Cardamom is not as strong as it was in the air, but it's definitely there. So has a nice spice to it, a little bit of an aromatics to it. It's definitely got kind of that winter vibe, so it's kind of a warmer spice, but a little bit of a fresh kiss to it with that little bit of sweetness. So interesting. Very masculine, has a boldness to it. I feel like this is going to really smooth out once we get to the dry down. It's still kind of trying to get its way there at this moment, but I feel like this might have a bit of a sophistication, but it's more of a boldness at this point in this initial opening and first few minutes or whatever. I'm not sure what this might be trying to clone. It could be trying to clone something and I'm just not familiar with it, but it's a very familiar scent DNA from Middle Eastern fragrances with that spice profile, just kind of like a spice market with a little bit of sweetness in the air, you know, some of those aromatics. So it is a very familiar scent profile. It's just, I'm not sure if it's cloning anything necessarily, but let's skip to the dry down, see how this unfolds. I'll go from there. All right, back with the dry down of Al Wataniah's Qasr Al Watan. Been about an hour, let it settle down, do its own thing. This didn't change a whole lot. It got a little bit darker, a little bit deeper, but the spiciness of this just didn't go away. This is a very spicy saffron forward fragrance, and it's just very bold. It's almost aggressive in terms of how spicy and saffron forward this is. Not necessarily my jam. This isn't like the type of thing that I reach for very often or at all. And like I said, it's got this real boldness to it that it's going to be kind of hard to pull off in a lot of different settings in my personal opinion. So that's kind of where I feel about this one. It's not a bad fragrance. If you're into very spicy saffron forward fragrances, then this is definitely gonna be your jam. It just reminds me of just being nose deep in a Middle Eastern spice market, but like a really heavy saffron that's going on there with just like kind of a nose tickle, peppery spices that's going on there. So, and there's not much else going on to it. Not my favorite fragrance. I'm probably not gonna wear this too often. I'll get this on skin, see if I have a different experience, but overall it's a good fragrance, just not my jam. That's Wataniah's Qasr Al Watan. All right, next up from the house of Wataniah, we got Wataniah's Noble Rawae'e. Scoop this up for $23, $30 at various discounters. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. Rawae'e, I wanna say. We'll stick with that, Rawae'e. Again, don't know anything about this fragrance, just saw it online, haven't heard anything about it, so decided to check it out and give you guys the scoop. So let's jump in, shall we? All right, so there we have the box presentation for Wataniah's Noble Rawae'e. Nice thick cardboard box, has this kind of, it's a bit of a thin, flimsy plastic kind of window that's sitting right there, but nice added touch so you can see the fragrance bottle in there and kind of a nice emblem as well. So nice box design overall. Opens up like so, has the little string ribbon there, sitting in kind of a velvety podium there. So again, nice box presentation for under $30, between $23, $30 is pretty decent. Bottle presentation, pretty straightforward, just kind of like almost a cube style of bottle here, rounded corners on that, and a nice big cap on this, which is kind of a mix of plastic and some metal, so it's not quite like the other Wataniah that was just like a pure metal, but it's got some strength to it, won't crush in my powerful hand. And the atomizer on this. Ooh, nice atomizer. Shoots a fair distance, good puffs on that, will definitely get the job done. But what does this smell like? So right off the rip, just smelling this in the air, really nice fruity mixture going on right here. So there's like mango, there's a little touch of some florals. I'm getting like an ylang-ylang that's going on in the air right now. Like mango, some citruses, kind of some sweet pineapple, and there's some spice as well that's going on to this. So it's not like an overly feminine, fruity style of fragrance. It's got this little kick of some spice going on to it to just kind of like pull it at least into the unisex territory right now. It's like a fruit cocktail in the air right now. It's quite nice. Let's get this on paper, dive in. Yeah, so right off the rip, just smell this off paper. This is a really interesting fragrance. Like I said, it's a very fruit cocktail style of fragrance. The mango is standing out quite a bit. There is some floral touches that's going on in there, but it has this kind of nice mix of some like pepper that's in there. I'm getting a little bit of some woods from the base, and it has this kind of woody, spicy profile mixing in with this fruit cocktail sort of vibe going on to it. So it's mostly the fruits you are getting. So you are getting a lot of that mango, a lot of the citruses right now. But like I said before, just kind of balancing off with that spice profile and that little bit of the woods that's coming from the base, like an earthiness that's coming from the base as well. That's just kind of pulling this kind of to the masculine side of like a fruity fragrance. This is interesting. I'm digging this. As it's opening up a little bit more, the mango is still kind of the star of the show, but there's a little bit of amberiness that's coming through. That cedar wood from the base is kind of a fresh, spicy cedar wood is coming through. Little touches of patchouli adding a bit of earthiness, but it's really about this like nice, fresh, ripe mango that's kind of sitting on top of these nice woods, a little bit of that ambery texture and some sweetness that's coming up, and just kind of like a dash of some pepper that's sitting on top of it. So like I said, it's just an interesting kind of fruit medley that's mixing in with some really nice earthy, spicy tones. Yeah, this is an interesting fragrance. I am enjoying this one just from like the artistic side of it for sure. And like, I mean, it smells fantastic, but it's very interesting just how everything's kind of working together. So this is got my attention for sure, but let's skip to the dry down, see how this unfolds, and we'll go from there. All right, back with the dry down of Wataniah's Noble Rawae'e. Been about an hour, let it settle down, do its own thing. This still hung on to that mango note. More of the ylang-ylang came through, so it has this kind of this fruity, floral, almost kind of rubbery texture that works its way in, not in a bad way, just kind of how ylang-ylang tends to come through, and it blends in with that mango really well, but it's got this like nice warmth to it. It's like, kind of like a dipped in rum amberiness that's working with that mango ylang-ylang accord, and just little touches of some earthiness coming through, like patchouli. That cedarwood didn't come forward as much as I thought it would. It's still there, it's kind of tucked in behind, but really that's, like I said, that kind of fruity accord with that bit of warmth has stuck around from kind of that midpoint to this dry down. And it's a very unique fragrance. I am enjoying this one. I'm definitely gonna wear this one, see how it kind of acts with my skin chemistry. I would say it's a unisex fragrance. The fruity floral aspect makes you think it'd be kind of leaning feminine, but it's that warmth that comes through, that amberiness, and those touches of those kind of earthy touches that just kind of like pull it into the unisex territory, and maybe even a little bit on the masculine side, but very unique fragrance. It's not going to be kind of your everyday wear dumb reach style of fragrance. It's got like a bit of an artistic side to it that's, it'll just be one of those moods where you'd want to wear this one, but it's interesting. It's definitely got my attention. I'm definitely going to wear this one and see how it performs and all that. Maybe get back to you guys, but overall for $23 to $30, pretty decent fragrance. That's Wataniah's Noble Rawae'e. All right, and last, but hopefully not least, going in the house of Dumont with Dumon Soprano Elite. And you can scoop this up from Perfume Box for $42, and I've unboxed a couple Sopranos right now, and they're pretty decent fragrances, so let's just hope to keep that rolling, shall we? All right, there we have the box presentation for Dumont Soprano Elite. Kind of a typical cardboard box, but I do know that there is another box inside, so let's get to that one, shall we? All right, and there is our second box. Very, very similar to the first one, but this is a nice, thick, heavy cardboard. I can already tell the cap's loose on this, so let's try and open this slowly without it falling. Yeah, did I call that or what? This is the third time. Every Soprano fragrance, the cap is ajar. So, I don't know, a little rough in transit or what the case is, but there we are. Bottle presentation on this, pretty nice. It's got like kind of a nice light gradient that kind of runs up. I am colorblind. I don't know if my audience knows that I'm a little colorblind, so I'm not gonna tell you if that's green or brown or orange or whatever that is, but nice gradient that's running through this. Kind of a nice tapered thing and kind of a ribbed kind of edge to this one as well as on the cap. Cap on this is kind of a thick plastic, maybe a little bit of metal in there, but it does have some definite thickness to this. And the atomizer on this bad boy, nice atomizer. Shoots halfway across the room. Good wide puffs will definitely get the job done. But what does this smell like? So right off the rip, just smelling this in the air, really nice, clean, aromatic style of fragrance. Little hint of some spices, but I'm really just picking up on some like lavender and geranium, some like maybe some clary sage that's going on here. A little kiss of some citrus, but it's really about those aromatics right now and kind of the clean freshness that's going on. It definitely reminds me of something and just haven't put my finger on it quite yet. So let's dive in, see what's going on. Yeah, very similar off the test strip as it was in the air. The nice clean aromatics, as I said, a little bit of sweetness coming from this clary sage, nice clean lavender that's coming forward, little touch of some geranium, kind of adds a little bit of a green, but it's more kind of just like a clean freshness that's going on with those aromatics. And like I said, little pop of some citrus that's at the top, just kind of adding a bit of a brightness to this. This is very familiar. It's I'll have to think about this, but this is reminding me of something. As it's opening up a little bit more, there's some nice musk coming in from the base. So it's starting to get this like clean musk that's running through it, working really well with those aromatics. This reminding me of the Prada Luna Rosa, either the original or like maybe the Sport. It's somewhere in there. It had just that kind of clean freshness that's going on with that little bit of a muskiness. That's kind of where this one's leaning. I have to get my nose on those ones to confirm, but that's where my brain's going right now. There is this interesting spice that's going on to this. So like with all that freshness, that cleanness, that bit of a muskiness, there's just a little hint of this kind of nose tickling spice that's in there that just kind of like, it just accentuates those aromatics a little bit, but it also adds like a touch of warmth to it at the same point. So it's a nice little added touch. It's not a very spicy fragrance, but it's just like that little kiss to give it a little bit of a pop and just kind of, like I said, kind of accentuate those other notes. I'm liking this one. Very fresh, very clean, but with that kind of little bit of added character. But let's get to the dry down, see how this unfolds, and we'll go from there. All right, back with the dry down of Dumont Soprano Elite. Been about an hour. Let's settle down, do its own thing. Didn't change a whole lot. I got a little bit warmer in the dry down, a little touch of some amberiness coming through, a little hint of some woods just to kind of form a foundation, but through and through, it's still that nice, fresh, clean, aromatic style of fragrance, like fresh sheets, barbershop kind of cleanliness going on to it, nice clean musk running through it. And it does really remind me of the Prada Luna Rosa. Wouldn't say it's a one-to-one. It's definitely has those overlaps with those fresh, clean aromatics, that kind of airy feel that's going on to it. But there are slight differences, but it definitely will remind you of that fragrance if you get your nose on this one. Just an overall easy to wear, casual fragrance, office safe, wear it to the gym if you just want to have that fresh, clean sort of feel. This one will definitely get you the job done. And for 42 bucks, the quality on this is pretty good. Not sure how the performance is, but I can definitely still smell it pushing off the strip here. So overall, I think this was a win for the Dumont Soprano line, and quite happy with this one. That's Dumont Soprano's Elite. All right, so there you have it. That's my unboxing first impressions of 3 new Middle Eastern fragrances that I recently picked up. But I want to hear from you guys. What are some other fragrances you want to see me do an unboxing first impressions of? Comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. I love getting your different recommendations, your hidden gems, different taste and scent profiles. Appreciate you. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.